Nice to have you with us on this Super Saturday here at Mount Panorama as we get set for race number 3 of the weekend for the Revolution Racegear improved production. And just as we came on air, we had a nice big skid down the main straight from one of the Tiranas that are going to be starting towards the back.
Had a bit of understeer, corrected it, and then slid down the wall on the inside of the track and did some damage to the front of it. So they're very well done to get it back for this race.
Left some nice skid marks on the main straight there as well as we get set for race number 3. Your starting lineup, Matty Logan a little further back in this one, position row number 6, I should say, with Kurt McCready. That's that real battle, isn't it, for that under 2 litre that we'll see, because we've got over 2 litres and under 2 litres to talk about, Gary.
Yeah, and there's also Michael Ricketts and Charlie Viola, who picture partners. They're a sort of a naming rights backer of improved production. They're also in the under 2 litre fight, so there's 4 cars there that could possibly take it out.
Adam Poole starting this one from position number 1 with Luke Gretsch-Cumbo alongside him on the front row. Glorious conditions here at Mount Panorama. What a wonderful Saturday we've had. Tomorrow, of course, we gear up for the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 hour, 11:45 local time. We'll be on air from 11:30 as we count down towards race start. But it'll be the final race of the day, at least for us here today, as well as third race of the weekend. From what we saw earlier on today, Gary, don't know if anyone will have anything for Poole if everything goes to plan.
Well, he's about 6 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field, so possibly what we might see is him going for a very quick time.
You're quite right in saying that. In fact, if you go back to the earlier race, I think it was about a 2:22 that he got down to towards the end.
2:20.
Even lower, 2:20, yep, which was good. So looking to see if he can lower that mark in this particular race. It'll be a timed race as well, about 15 minutes as the field roll through. A wonderful chase.
Yeah, a couple of cars to keep an eye out for is Lee Forrest, who we seen go from the back of the field to position 22. And also we'll have Adam Williams in that Tirana, who we've seen do the big burnout coming out of the pre-grid. And he's bound to make up some positions. He had a great start, but he said a great start didn't mean anything, did it?
No, you're quite right in saying that. So field starting to grid up, double file formation as they will pull up into their grid slots and get set for what will be a 15-minute journey around here at Mount Panorama. We saw the intervention of the safety car late in the race. Dom Koppler unfortunately came to a stop down in the chase. The thing was beached down to its rear axles as he had a massive moment. Lucky to avoid the car in front, but had to take towards driver's right onto the grass before then careering through the gravel trap.
Actually, in that under 2 litre fight, Kurt McCready and Ryan Gordon are lying astern of each other. One's on the outside of one row and on the inside of the next is Gordon. So that's how close they are. Look forward to seeing how they go. And they've got to mix it with the big engine cars as well. So
in race 1 of the day, Luke Gretsch-Cumbo was able to lead off the start. It was Poole, though, that got the better jump in race number 2. So they're 1 each so far in that run to turn number 1. We'll see what they can produce here in this third race of the day. Still waiting for some of these cars to come around and grid up basically on the turn there of Murray's Corner. As you can see, our official just trying to direct some of the traffic into their proper grid formation.
We have a green flag to be waved very shortly. He's standing on top of the tyres. He doesn't want to be anywhere near where they are. That's right at the back of the field. That's on past Murray's Corner.
So he's given the signal, waiting for the lights to go out here on pit straight. Race 3 of the weekend, Revolution Racegear, improved production at Mount Panorama. Away we go. Better start this time by from Gretsch-Cumbo. Unfortunately for Poole, he has gone backwards in that run to turn number 1 as they file on through. Just over 50 cars here this weekend was entered prior to the event. So far, so good as they'll thunder their way up Mountain Straight for the first time.
Yeah, Poole had massive bog down off the line and just went nowhere, while Gretsch-Cumbo went straight to the lead, and already
no surprise.
Situation normal.
Poole back down the inside, going to Griffin's Bend. 3 wide here, if you don't mind, in the mid-pack as they work their way into the second turn. One car going a little wide there through the right-hander, but a good jump in the end from Gretsch-Cumbo, but as we saw, hasn't quite got that straight line speed compared to Poole, and already starting to fall into the clutches of those in behind. You would expect Poole to pull away here.
You see that Braun was in third spot. He actually had second off the line and got out-muscled going up the hill. There's Cruz in the background, that orange Sylvia, trying to get past Lockie McBride in the BMW. And already you can see Poole starting to stretch that margin to go across the top. And we can see that Chris Brown has got ahead of Braun. So Braun back to fourth, Chris Brown in third in the Toyota AE86 Turbo. And Braun right on the back of him in the naturally aspirated BMW.
So a bit of a class structure format for this particular class, what we mentioned off the top, over 2 litre and under 2 litre. This field have got a great history in Australian motorsport. Take us back because these cars really were sort of road registered when they started.
Well, it was a road registered class. It was actually called road registered. And then it became club cars when they decided, well, you didn't need a pink slip as long as it could obtain one. That's why they changed it to club cars, and now it's called improved production.
Field thundering down Conrod Straight. Isn't it a great sound as they rocket their way into the chase? So Poole from Gretsch Cumbo. That is the battle positions 1 and 2. A little further back here at the moment. Just watching the 52 of McBride here trying to hold on to this spot at the moment, with Cruz trying to launch onto the back of him now as they'll come down into Murray's corner. Poole across the start-finish line. Once again, he's extending that margin out in front now. 3 seconds from first back to second. But Brown, as you can see here on screen, this battle for second is staying with him here at the moment. So this is looking like a nice little fight in between the HSV and the Toyota.
Certainly is. Lehman in 5th position. As we said before, McBride holding out Cruz. Ben Sheedy's dropped a couple of spots. He's back to 8th. Then we've got Scott Cook in 9th. Daniel Timewell in 10th. And then Butcher in the other BMW just behind him in 11th.
Brown really starting to close in here on Gretsch Cumbo, as still Cruz is holding on at the moment in position number 7 as they work their way now back into the cutting once again. Lehman's just fallen back a little bit from behind Braun in that battle for positions 4th and 5th right now. Great shot, isn't it, as they come up into the cutting. We've had some incredible moments there over the time in Australian motorsport.
Forrest already up 2 spots. He's up to 20th. I'm just trying to track where Williams would be at this point. He's certainly picked up some positions from the back of the field. And I just don't see him right there at the moment. So he's just outside the top 34th.
34th at the moment from the rear of the field. So not a bad start either for Adam Williams, making up some spots early in this race. Still 10.5 minutes to go from what was 15 at the start.
So Lehman now also got ahead of Braun. Braun just doesn't have the capacity to hold them out up the mountain and down Conrod Straight. The straights just kill the smaller engine cars.
So already for Poole, if he was to get all of his sectors together, a 220.3 would be the cumulative best so far. So he's certainly got some pace in underneath that number 1 machine. And I wonder if there's any chance he might be able to dip into a 219 this afternoon, considering the track temperature and the ambient temperature is certainly starting to come down now as we get later in the day.
Well, it's probably benefiting the chance of getting a better time. And he's already gone faster in the first sector on this particular lap anyway. So he set a new PB there, and he's gone through in a 220.65.
Look at Brown here looking down the inside of Gretsch Cumbo through the final turn. Couldn't quite get the job done. Now, the more that these two fight, the more that it will bring those in behind back into the battle as well. In fact, Lehman now has jumped up into that 4th position, as you can see in the Holden, going back into Hell Corner.
Gretsch Cumbo with 6 litres under the bonnet of that Senator. Chris Brown, of course, turbocharged 4-cylinder, and Kay Lehman in another big engine Commodore.
Look at this Toyota AE86.
So it's almost David and Goliath, really, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? And he was having a look then going up Mountain Straight, that great top-down shot that we had of the cars. He was looking towards driver's right, but this is the great thing, isn't it, about improved production cars, because these cars will achieve their speeds at different points in the racetrack. So sometimes you'll see that, okay, the HSV's certainly got the legs going up and down the mountain, but across the top that we're seeing here at the moment, the Toyota AE86 might be actually a little bit better in this tight and twisty stuff.
Lee Forrest has got a 5-second penalty. That would be a start line infringement, I would imagine. So that's going to cost him a little bit in the end. And Williams up to 28th now.
Good moves indeed. Just looking at the battle for the under 2 litres as well. Kurt McCready has got a fair bit of a margin next to his name right now. He's 15th overall, but quite comfortably the under 2 litre class leader right now. Still this great battle though for 2nd overall. Gretsch Cumbo has his work cut out for it because this little Toyota AE86 Sprinter is making him work for it. Look at the HSV just struggling for traction there coming out of Forest Elbow.
Squirming as it put the power down. The advantage that he has is he's in front of the Toyota going across the top of the mountain, where the Toyota's probably stronger, and there's nothing that Brown can do about it at that point.
And Lehman's not far away. In fact, he might even be close enough here to have a dive. He's right underneath the rear bar. You couldn't get much closer. In fact, there might have even been a little tap then going into the left-hander of the chase. He's got the top-end speed, but not quite the cornering speed as opposed to the little Toyota.
We've just seen Poole go through Murray's Corner with 2 wheels on the where these guys are now. All that dust you'll see off to the right will be where Poole miscued a little bit on that corner.
Brown down the inside then that time by. It was almost a case of deja vu from the lap prior, but he was able to squeak then down to the inside, and already now has started to put a couple of car lengths between himself and Gretsch Cumbo, who probably now is falling in arrears to Lehman here in now what is going to be the battle for position 3. In fact, Lehman is going to try and pass him here in the run to Griffin's Bend. In fact, he's going to get the job done before they even get to Griffin's Bend here. So I wonder if there might be a little bit of an issue here maybe for Gretsch Cumbo, because that car is going backwards here at a rapid rate of knots.
Yeah, it wasn't all that fast over the last lap, and you can see now he's falling away from him, so he's got a little bit of an issue there, and possibly come under threat from Braun and Cruz and McBrien. They've been the next 3, maybe even Sheedy if there's enough time left for them to get near him. Certainly dropped away, hasn't he?
Still 6 minutes to go here. The margin from first back to second is out to, well, over now, 14 seconds, so comfortable for Poole. I reckon Lehman might have a little bit of a chance here at Brown. We saw the lap prior how he was able to launch right in underneath the rear bar of Brown, so it's going to be fascinating once they get back to the chase as to whether or not he'll have anything for him, as we continue to watch Sheedy here on screen at the moment, working it through the left-hander at McPhillamy Park.
That car built by Jerry McLeod from his wrecked V8 Ute. Went to Hidden Valley for a while, to a North Territory, and then Ben Sheedy bought it and brought it back down south. Not to Victoria, but certainly to New South Wales.
Of course, Hidden Valley will be the location for the Nationals a little bit later on in the year, coming up in July.
Might go back there again.
You may as well get some sunshine. It's going to be quite cool in this part of the world come that time of the year.
What they'll probably do, a lot of them, they'll take their cars up there for the combined sedan race at the supercar event, leave the car there, and then go back the following month, 3 or 4 weeks later, and run in the Nationals.
So it's Poole, Brown, Gretsch Cumbo, from Lehman, Braun, Cruz. All a little bit of a moment here for Sheedy as he locked up that left front there going into the left-hander of the chase. Got away with it. He's continuing to roll through in position 8 at the moment. So it's Cruz in 6 like we were saying, but Brian, Sheedy, Cook and Timewell so far the top 10.
Gretsch Cumbo under threat now from the BMW of Rob Braun, and as we see
Matthew Logan with a massive moment going across the top of McPhillamy Park. That car has darted towards the left. Did a nice job. Good car control to keep it off the fence. That could have been so much worse.
Here we see Chris Brown going up through Griffin Bend. Has slipped away from Kai Lehman.
He has, hasn't he? He's put about 1.2 seconds on him at the moment. Going back into the cutting. So 4 minutes to go. Still a few laps left in this one right now. And Carr, unfortunately, down in the sand trap here at Murray's Corner. And
that's Andrew Butcher in the BMW. He was running fairly strongly too.
Yeah, 25th at the time, when unfortunately he's come to a halt down there, and we might be under control of the safety car towards the end of this race. And in fact, the safety car has now been called.
And there is Adam Williams going through. He's picked up quite a few places. He's currently sitting 22nd. And this race may...
I would dare say, yes, Gary, I'd probably finish up the safety car is what you were about to say. Very much like what we saw in the earlier race today as well. A little bit of smoke, I thought, then might have been coming out. Might have been the sheeting machine, actually, as they were working then out of these. No, it wasn't. I correct myself. She's a little bit further up the pecking order at the moment. I think it might have been David Rogers in the 87 machine there, just rolling through our frame.
Quite a variety of cars, as you can see, in improved production. Everything from 4-cylinder under 2-litre cars, 4-cylinder turbo cars, 4-wheel drive in some cases as well. And of course we've got rotaries and V8s also out there.
Mentioned Lee Forrest earlier on how he had a 5-second penalty. A safety car now is going to compound that issue for him. Now he's in 13th position. So when you think about the drive that he's had today, from the very back of the grid, which was a roughly position 50 in race number 2, to make his way back up to at least 13th prior to the penalty, has been a very good job indeed.
40 years Lee Forrest has been racing, and that Toyota Celica's probably done most of them.
Yeah, and hasn't it been great? The family here this weekend, they've all got the 40 years T-shirts on this weekend as well. Our recovery team with the Ford Ranger doing a nice job. Here's a bit of a replay, Gary.
Yeah, this is Butcher coming down to turn 1, going under the McClellan Monaro, and yeah, just lost it on the exit.
I think he was a little bit too eager there and probably missed the braking marker by quite a few metres, to say the least. Taking way too much speed then into the final turn.
They've already got that car out and he's on his way again. That's Butcher we're talking about.
So we've got a minute left in the race, and the sub-reg state that once you get to basically 0 minutes, it's then plus a lap. Now that they've got that car back out onto the racetrack, I wonder, just going to throw the speculator out there as to whether or not we might get this race back under green with maybe a 1-lap dash. We'll wait and see as to what the officials will say on that one.
McCready leading the under 2-litre. He's in 14th position, and he has a couple of cars between him and Ryan Gordon. So looks like he will take out the under 2-litre part of this race and actually move himself up at least one spot, because Forrest will go back courtesy of that 5-second penalty.
It's been a really good representation here this weekend for the improved production. When you go back to the start of the weekend, there was around about 55 that were entered originally on the entry list, majority from New South Wales and Victoria, but also some representations from Tasmania, South Australia, WA and Queensland as well, which has been really good to see, because this category still, Gary, going from strength to strength.
It is. If we do get a 1-lap flyer towards the end of it, the one probably to watch will be Lehman sitting in 3rd position. Will he have enough to get past Brown? And has Gretsch Cumbo got anything left to maybe offer a challenge on that 1 lap, especially with the 6-litre car going up the hill?
That'll be something that we look out for. Still yet to confirm as to whether or not this will be the last lap, or we will get 1 last lap going in. So we will get 1 more lap, I'm getting told. So that will set up for a nice little finish. Hopefully, if we get back under green, I can't see why we would, but we'll wait and see. We're still under the control of the safety car at the moment. And it won't be too far away from heading down Conrod Straight, I would dare say. So a few of the competitors just getting told to catch the train. Fingers crossed we might get 1 last roll of the dice here.
This will make for Adam Poole's 3rd win, so he's a good chance to clean sweep this event. On pace, certainly.
Well, he was lucky, wasn't he, in race number 1 of the weekend to get the victory because he was behind on the opening lap, and when the safety car came out was literally moments after he was able to get down the inside of Gretsch Cumbo, which was very lucky indeed.
And then made up for it in race 2 by getting the start right and just driving away. Unfortunately, didn't quite do it in the third, but soon got the lead back.
So going to be a fascinating finish here because the safety car has pulled away, and we will get one last lap here. Look at Poole already starting to pull away, in fact, from the rest of the field. A fair old margin between himself and Brown, which is quite interesting here for the restart. So
well, I think that'd be Brown's fault. He should be the one that's right up behind Poole.
You would think so. Poole's almost now having to wait for the rest of the field to latch onto the back of him. So a bit of a weird restart here so far. We're under the control of Poole though at the moment. And we will see this one last roll of the dice here for your Revolution Racegear Improved Production, back under the control of your race leader heading down into Murray's Corner, and he will have 6.213 kilometres to negotiate here at Mount Panorama.
So he goes across the line, leads from Chris Brown. There was almost a second in it then. Max Gagan just getting out of the way of some of the faster cars in his Toyota 86. Lehman in third, Gretsch Cumbo in fourth, Dennis Braun, Cruz, McBride, Sheedy, Cook in ninth, and Timewall in 10th.
There's Lee Forrest going through our shot at the moment, position 13 right now, so he's got to make up a little bit of ground on this last lap as well, considering he's got that 5-second penalty next to his name. How's the traffic jam coming over Mountain Straight at the moment?
I wonder if Sheedy's had a problem there because he's dropped right off the back of Cruz. Cruz on the back of Braun trying to get into position 5.
Yeah, so there he is on screen. Sheedy, he's got these gaggle of cars, you could say, in behind him at the moment. There's Lee Forrest in underneath the rear as well. So look at Poole. He's already pulled this margin between himself and Brown, which is what you would expect. And Lehman hasn't quite got anything to throw at Brown at the moment in this battle for P2.
Gretsch Cumbo Eva, he's still locked in 4th position and not quite close enough right yet to offer a challenge, but Poole's just driven away from him. I wonder if he's trying to get a last lap flyer in.
What do you reckon he's going to be, a 220.6 here?
Maybe a 19, maybe there somewhere.
He was about half a second away, in fact, in the first sector. We'll see what he can do here. Nice and sideways. In fact, he's done a 39.3 to the second sector, so he's half a chance of actually bettering his own fastest lap of the race here. This might be a little bit Peter Brock-esque here at Mount Panorama.
On the last lap, well, the first 2 sectors added together as his fastest for the race so far, so he's certainly given it the big stick as he comes down through the chase for this the last time today.
He was sideways then through the kick. He's not backing off here, and he's almost off the road going through the chase as well. The car is squirming all over the road. Good to watch on this last lap. Give it to, though. Adam Poole has done a brilliant job all weekend and will take out, as long as he gets through the final turn here, race number 3 of the weekend for the Revolution Racegear Improved Production, and does do a 2:19.6, if you don't mind me saying, at the end of that one. A very handsome lap time indeed.
What can you say? Certainly, for it, if he got the first sector right, he would have even been quicker. You said he was about, what, half a second off his best in the first sector?
Watching the
actually,
last
6/10.
Watching the last few cars negotiate the final turn, and I believe that it will be Kurt McCree, yes it is, that takes out the under 2 litre as well and finishes a little further down the field. So here's your results for race number 3 of the weekend. Adam Poole, your winner. Chris Brown in second. Lehman, Gretsch Cumbo and Braun completing the top 5.
Paul Curry into 6th position. Ben Sheedy, Lachlan McBride in position 8. Scott Cook 9th. Danny Timewall wraps out our top 10.
Great stuff indeed here at Mount Panorama. Let's run through some of your race highlights once again, because it was an interesting start, wasn't it? Because Poole didn't get away all that well in that run to turn number 1, because it was Gretsch Cumbo that got him in the end.
And Braun actually got ahead of the Monaro going into turn 1, and seen one of the cars go bush there almost as they went through turn 1, but by the time they got to turn 2, Poole was in front.
And that was basically all that she wrote for the rest of that race. Once Poole was able to pull clear from the rest of the field, it was tough to work through in that mid-pack. And then we have this interesting battle between Gretsch Cumbo, Brown and Lehman. In the end, though, it would go in favour of Brad, but he really had to work for it, Gary, in these early stages.
He certainly did, and once he did get ahead, which he did down at Murray's Corner, he was able to hold that position.
And he had 2 attempts at that and finally got it on that second attempt that you could see then going through Murray's Corner. We kind of hypothesised if Greg Chicumbo had an issue towards the back end of the race, he would ultimately finish down in position number 4.
Here we're just watching some more of the action there. Someone there taking the shortcut, Logan, and got all out of whack going across Skyline and almost put it into the wall on the inside.
Yeah,
almost did Adam Williams did in the previous race, and of course Andrew Butcher had that spin down at turn. The final corner, Murray's Corner, and that was it.
And obviously Adam Poole would then come through and take the race win with the fastest lap on the very last lap at 2:19.6 in the end. What a day of racing we've had here at Mount Panorama Bathurst as part of the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 Hour. And Richard Craill, still so much more to come tomorrow.
Brian, Gary, thank you. Amazing day on the mountain. It's been an incredible show. On behalf of our entire team, thank you for joining us. 11:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. Join us for Bathurst's biggest enduro. It's goodbye from Mount Panorama.